Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I am Patrick.
And I'm Paul. How's it going?
Not too bad. And we are Hear Us Out. I feel like just every now and again I'm going to throw in that, it's like we're Wild Stallions or something, Ted, Theodore, S. Preston, Logan. Um, Everybody, thank you very much for joining us, be it right now live or in the future times. Well, in the future times, if the buildings around you are still standing, then that means Godzilla vs. Kong didn't go down the way we thought it would. It's starting to be released around the world right now, and it gave us the idea that maybe we should talk about these versus movies. If you took them seriously, would they even last, a few minutes? Who'd really win? Because some of this stuff, let's be honest, folks, it's a bit of a mismatch just to get franchises to come together. What do you reckon, Paul?
Yeah, yeah. Like that's the it's yeah with the release of kind of which goes Kong versus Godzilla. It did raise the question of like, what are they actually going to do? Is this going to be another versus film that we've gone through before? In the sense of like, yeah, it's not really a versus, kind of thing.
It's Clash of the Franchises, Clash of the
Yeah,
Titans. Well, Paul, we're going to cover a bunch of these folks, and we're going to keep it light, and we're going to have fun. So get in the comments. Let us know who you'd pick in any of the matchups. We've got a few matchups that we're going to throw up on screen. Obviously, we're not going to bury the lead. We're going to go straight to the big one. And Paul, I have a clip that I'm going to let play for about 7 seconds if you're patient. Let's see if this actually works.
Let them fight.
If that worked, then the people at home will have seen the iconic "Let Them Fight" from. There you go. Sorry, that was my surprise for Paul. I don't know if it actually played out live for everybody the way it should. Somebody in the comments can let me know if you could even hear it.
I'm I'm getting the feed, and yeah, I can see it.
Okay, good. Hopefully the audio went with it too. Well,
Yeah, it
folks,
did.
Godzilla versus Kong. I know who I think would win. I don't know who Paul thinks would win, but we're going to have a bit of fun finding out in the next few minutes. So, Paul, I've thrown up a few character cards for these bad boys. What do you think? Who you got in the Godzilla versus Kong?
This is the interesting thing. Also, I want to say that Patrick showed me the cards like previous, and I was just like, oh, this is going to be great.
I
Have you
showed
sent those
one
up yet?
card. I showed one card,
Oh,
Paul.
yeah.
So
You only show.
you don't know how bad the rest of them are going to be.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I enjoy the top trumps esqueness of this, so I'm all on board, kind of thing. Like, yeah, like Kong versus this is the interesting Kong versus Godzilla, and we're talking about the new age versions now,
Yes.
the ones that have recently come out in the
Yeah.
monster verse kind of thing. Um, like it's an interesting one. So if we're taking it in a real sense, this
Yeah.
is going to be difficult because Godzilla's got a lot of stuff going for him. Got a lot of stuff going for him. But I want to point out that how we dominated this world as the apex predators of the world is by using tools. And Kong can definitely use tools, which is seen in Skull Island.
But not opposable thumb, so it's not like he's going to go and manufacture a
No, he's
Godzilla
not.
killing bazooka. He may well
No.
pick up a boat and hit him with it, I guess.
Yeah, but it does mean that he does have the ability to use weapons, which would give him it gives him a little bit more of the advance. Like it's not a win-win kind of
Hmm.
thing that he's going to pick up like a thing, but it's no longer as one-sided as the other.
I'm
Like
glad you just said one-sided.
I know something about certain things about the film, so
Oh, unfortunately, I think I may have seen some of it on Twitter too. By the way, there's a terrible Twitter user out there. Did you see that tweet? It
I
gives
don't
away the
know.
end of the film.
Oh no, I didn't see that one. No, I avoided that. I mind wiped my own mind
Very good.
before reading that.
Well, look, I want to put my cards on the table. This is the one that, and I've said this for years. Godzilla versus Kong is not a fight for me, because yes, King Kong, the royalty versus the deity, the king versus the god. It's all good, people. I love King Kong as much as anybody else, but King Kong is essentially a big, massive ape. So yes, he might be able to pick stuff up. Paul, good point. So he could pick up a shield, maybe if they made the right size shield. Why would he need a shield? Because you got Godzilla running around, being basically an atomic weapon who can shoot atomic blasts out of his face. And on the other side of the ring is a monkey who's big. Don't get me wrong. On land, I give Kong a good 5 minutes in the ring, maybe using those skills, holding on to, buildings as shields or something, maybe jumping over there and getting in a good bite. He might be good on the ground game, a bit of ground and pound. UFC Kong here. But first time they see a body of water, Godzilla's going to be like, cool. And Kong will be like, can I swim? Oh, crap. No, I can't.
I guess the question is, okay, arena. Like, what's the arena that we're going for here, kind of thing? Should we get the audience to vote on the arena?
I think we should. I'm just gonna have a quick look at the comments because I just saw a big comment in here. So it's hey everybody, hello, yo everybody, yo hey and hi, and Brew, thanks for confirming it played. Stanley once said the whole character versus character thing is stupid. The writer decides who wins. Yeah, and Paul, you made a great point when we were talking about doing this. Writers and studios decide usually that no one should win for a very good business reason.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like only in comic books does that really happen. Like I'll be honest, there isn't like in movies the versus kind of thing never really actually like the good thing is you'll get a fight.
Move. It's like they fight and then they come together to fight the real evil because both whoever they are, the two characters have to go off into their own franchises and have their own part 2, 3, and 4 and 5 and still be heroes.
Yeah, that's it. Or on some of the cases that we're going to go in further into, they just don't. Nothing like as in they come back.
Yeah. I see, just to finish out on the comments real quick, have to tweet those cards. You know what? When you see them all, you'll see some of them mightn't be tweet friendly, but if you like them by the end, we'll tweet them out. I want to see Kong and Godzilla have a boxing match. But Brew is the first one in with a location behind McDonald's.
Okay. I'm gonna say that Godzilla has the advantage behind McDonald's.
Yeah, for sure.
Say it there,
because there's nothing, there's nothing readily at hand. The McDonald's M sign is not going to be a great weapon for Kong, unless maybe he just scoops up the whole McDonald's and holds it up.
See, my other thing is that Kong's definitely got that friend who's like, yeah, you get him, I'll hold your coat. Like Godzilla has got his Mothra girlfriend.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
So, but
I'm calling it for Godzilla, and you know what? People might say, well, what about Kong and his climbing abilities, etc. When's the last time you thought about King Kong climbing something that didn't end badly? I almost put down for his weaknesses, blondes. He seems to be very distracted by women. Kong, and he's not exactly a consent kind of guy either. So I'm going to say to hell with King Kong. He's grabbing people from tied up to poles on Skull Island in the classics. Godzilla, at least all he ever did was run around and cause some serious property damage, I guess.
Yeah, we got a comment that says it's going to be in a body of water because that's the least amount of human casualties. In the film I definitely agree. Like there is if you watch some of the trailers, there is a fight somewhere in a city, but in fairness, this universe already lives with Godzilla. Like they're already probably like, yeah, we get it.
Godzilla is the builder's friend, isn't he? Like, talk about knocking down Tokyo every time. Once a decade for my entire life now. Godzilla's been in there just... He's clumsy, all right? He's just a messy bugger.
Yeah, but that whole, when they came out that Godzilla was under, being paid by the unions and stuff like that wasn't a good PR thing. Just gotta say.
He's on the books. All right, folks. I'm calling it for Godzilla in a landslide. I'm going to give Kong, because, Paul, you've convinced me, Kong's a bit spry, he's a bit wily, he can climb, he can jump around, he can maybe defend himself with some stuff, throw a few rocks, etc. But I'm sensing a nuclear death ray end to that particular ape fight.
Yeah, I'd have to say I'd agree. Unless we're including certain things from the new movie, then Godzilla wins.
Okay, no, I'm not even going to ask. No spoilers here tonight, folks. Next one up. Next one up is funny for me because we were talking about the Justice League before we went on air. Batman versus Superman, BVS. Bats versus Supes. The great DC face-off. I don't know what else it could have been called, Paul. I've run out of things. The fight over who gets to say the word Martha louder.
What is it? The Dark Knight versus the... I don't know.
The Yellow Sun? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, he's a good lad as our Superman, and I like him, but I'm very much a Batman guy. Except if these two are walking down the street. These two walking down the street, and one says to the other, you're kind of annoying me. Let's fight. I guarantee you that's not Batman to Superman. That's Superman to Batman. Because the only way Batman has a chance is if he picks the situation perfectly. Because if they're just having a falling out and Superman's like, I'll kick your ass, Batman will back down. Because he's essentially a big, meaty human, and Superman is essentially a big spandex-covered god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. This is yeah. Yeah, like this is the problem. If it's a stand-up fight where you're actually allowing Batman or Superman to kill, and I don't mean like as in Psycho, like, you know.
And this doesn't have to be a fight to the death, you know. Maybe even just a fight to the put down. If
with Batman, it's going to be no.
Yeah, true.
No, because Batman's not going to kill either. So you got a good thing. Yeah, I would say in an actual fight that Superman would win, kind of thing. Like in the famous kind of storyline done by done by Zack Snyder and also by it doesn't matter, which is for the Dark Knight Returns series. Like, yeah, Batman chooses the location, he chooses everything. It's like everything is in Batman's kind of like corner kind of thing. So like in that fight though, that is an interesting one because, well, as I said, in comic books, one does tend to win. I
am just saying though, we're doing real world. You take all we know about these two guys.
Oh, I meant story wise.
Yeah, but I mean in real world fight, this is not a Kong control stuff at Godzilla. This is if Superman gets annoyed, he wins.
Oh no. Oh no! Sorry. What I meant is that in the comic books, like Batman definitely wins, but in the movie,
yeah. But there's the fun thing about this.
Really,
like how does this play out? Okay, they're walking down the street, and if Batman says, "Why don't we just go into this abandoned factory over here for a minute," and then all of a sudden starts having a falling out with Superman, you would kind of hope that Superman would be like, there seems to be a lot of lead-lined boxes and walls in this room. Batman, what aren't you telling me? What, like, was it because I was hanging out with Wonder Woman and you're kind of into her? What is this? What is this? That's kind of... Batman would really have to be quite clever at tricking Superman into the fight. Because in any other circumstance, if they fall out over who gets to, hold the popcorn in the cinema, Superman's just basically laser eyes, blowing at him, blowing him apart, slapping him once. Or as Brew pointed out, Superman can legit fly. So he can
Let's go through the list. If Superman punches Batman, it's pretty much going to liquefy him. If he shoots lasers at him, that's pretty much either going to it's just going to destroy him. If he decides to breathe on him, it's going to freeze him like which goes kryptonite or carbonite, to bring a Star Wars thing in him. Which is if he what's the other things? If
he could just pick him up and run really quickly until a G-force mushed him. Yeah.
Watch or read Ultimates for that really cool kill.
There's only really one circumstance where Batman wins, and that is he set it all up perfectly. He's got a full kryptonite arsenal and kryptonite suit, for that matter, and remembers to utter the magic word Martha at just the right time to distract Superman. I don't know. I'm never letting that one go. And it was the delivery of the line. Why did you say that name? Martha?
Yeah.
I love
Like,
Batman in Batman
or
versus Superman, but that was cringe.
yeah, the Martha thing, I'm just going to ignore. Like, I'm just going to ignore that. Like, even in a fight against Superman and Batman, that like in our real world situation, if Superman or Batman was to go Martha or anything like that, then that's what happens. Though, we could also have the unpre-planned thing, which is just Batman walks up to him with a kryptonite bullet and just shoots him.
True, but then the whole super speed, super reaction, super duper duper. But yeah, you know what? 9 times out of 10, though, I'm calling this one for Superman. But I love the idea that there's a 10th time where just clumsiness is how Batman wins. He's like, oh, I got you this really cool green rock. It's from your home planet. You might like it. And it's really pointy, and I've put it down on your bed to surprise you. And Superman leaps into bed without looking because he's at home and spears himself with kryptonite. Like, I like the fact that it would have to be almost an extreme accident for Batman to get Superman.
Well, or just him having a lot to prep for.
Oh yeah, God,
You
the,
know?
the overhead though, the busyness. I would just go back to being super cool Batman and be like, you know what? I'm not even playing with Superman today. I can kick everybody else's ass and look cool. Superman's
All I'm
just
gonna look. All I'm gonna say is, like, when you're saying the overheads, it's just like, yeah, but his superpower is being rich.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a lot of effort though. A lot of effort.
Like, I'm gonna, as I said, gonna give it to Superman. Easy Superman kind of win and stuff like that. But I'm also not gonna count my boy Batman entirely out. But
I like that you're. I like that you're
yeah,
fighting for the bats here. I caught one of the comments that Bruce says Batman wins at poker. That's the other thing. We forgot to set the rules of engagement here. We're talking actual fights. But I think at almost anything else, I'm pretty much giving it to Batman in chess, probably Nintendo. Although he does seem like a Sega man to me. I'm ooh go karting. Yeah, no, still Batman, because you can't just fly that cart around. That would just be cheating, and you'd be
I
disqualified.
look. I'm just like at Mario Party or some kind of video game or something like that. Batman's got him beat. If this is a competition of anything else except for actual like physical
Yeah.
abilities, Batman's got him beat.
And he gets to say at the end when Superman's like, "How did you just pull off that move in Mortal Kombat?" He can be like, "Cause I'm Batman," and it's the ultimate line. So we give it to Superman in one case only. Batman, we're still with you on everything else though. So up next is what I like to call Kevin Feige's massive middle finger to Batman versus Superman, um, Civil War, also known as Cap versus Iron Man versus Cap, etc., etc. So if you've got your Iron Mans and your Captain Americas fighting, things get a little tighter. We're getting into there's
getting into the
opinions to be
weeds
had.
here. Getting into the weeds here.
That's it. So folks, get your nominations for who'd win in,
This
but
is
maybe first we have to agree, Paul, we can only talk about this for 5 minutes because I know you and I could go on all night.
I yeah, agreed. I will, but I'm kind of interested. We should let everybody else yeah, let's get a vote from the audience and stuff like that, and then we'll get we'll get a whole thing,
I sorry to call over to the comments again, but hi to everybody who's joining us that we didn't say hi to at the start, but also Kryptonite Pet Rock from the 70s as a present. I like it. I like it a lot. A Chia Pet Kryptonite. Um, could Batman beat Wonder Woman though? We don't have it down here, and we might have
If
to
we
do that as a different episode.
if we get it, or if when we get to the end of this, and if we still have time, we might just do a little bit of it. But
Well, the comment that caught my eye though was Superman wins at Twister. I dispute that. I think Batman is more flexible than Superman. I am going deep on my Batman love here. I think he does more training. He looks like a man who has some Pilates in his past. At the very least, hot yoga. Batman's gonna be able to reach the green circle when he's already over on the red ones.
mm-hmm.
For those of you who've played Twister.
Yeah, Okay, so setting
Give it
the
to me.
setting the bound the parameters or the arena or and the setup, we're talking about like we're not talking about nano suit. We're not talking about the nano suit that appears later on. We're going to talk about the one that's in Civil War, which is the like Mark 40 something.
Something in the 40s, yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing. So we're gonna stick with that one. He will not be able to call the Iron Legion to give him a hand, which because he will also not be able to call on any kind of other technology other than the suit that he currently has on him.
You're
Because
you're really good at this. I wasn't gonna even bother. I was just like, everybody
oh,
play by the
because
rules. You're being great at like being clear.
if it's because if I was Iron Man, immediately if I had to fight Cap, I'd just be like, "Yeah, Hulkbuster, screw you!" Like, it's just like I'll punch you and liquefy you. It doesn't matter if you're superhuman. And which
Good
because
point.
Cap does have his shield, we'll give him the shield. Mark 42, I believe, is just out of the comments. Mark 42, I believe, is in the Iron Man 3. It's the one that is able to modularly connect to him. I know Iron Man a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Captain America has his shield and doesn't have Bucky.
Yeah. So this is yeah, no tag team, no calling in your mates, none of that stuff. Well, let's run through what they have. So essentially, Tony Stark, from a physical specimen point of view, he's just kind of hot. Let's put that down as his physical level. He's just a good-looking fella with a lot of money. Keeps himself fit. Don't get me wrong. He's no slouch. But that's where he is physically. It's when he straps the suit on, that's where you got your Iron Man. So Steve Rogers, whether or not he's got his gear with him, has a natural advantage. So I'm saying the two of those guys walking down the street, no shield and no suit, if they get into an altercation, it's Cap all day. Like
Yeah.
there's no question. But both suited up, walking into a football stadium either side. I've just picked an arena because I figured why not. And I also tried to pick an arena that doesn't have lots and lots of Tony Stark kind of I'm going to drop this on him kind of moves. They're facing off. I don't know who I'm calling it for straight away. I'm thinking it'll be a decent tussle until there comes a point where if one of them gets the upper hand, it's over. If you know what I mean. If Cap gets Iron Man held down sort of thing and has the whole shield, he can basically, if he wants to kill him, he can slice his head off at that point because he seems to be able to push that shield through just about anything, and vice versa. If Tony gets his chance to just melt Captain America, then he would. You know, I'm saying it's all about who wants it more in this fight.
Yeah. The thing is, like, yeah, my problem is that we've seen what happens when Iron Man goes Iron Man, though.
Like when he loses his rag, sort of thing.
Yeah, because like he just turned himself over to the AI. The AI just kicked our like Cap's ass. It wasn't until like him and Bucky, like,
Oh yeah,
uh,
but
like
that
so
film is
like
flawed in so many ways. Because
well, I don't know.
I'm
I would
joking.
say I would say that Iron Man would have it just because he is an AI. That's essentially because it's within the suit.
Yes,
It's
yeah, true.
like it's within the suit. It can calculate everything. And like as much as people say that Cap is a man that will never stay down and stuff like that.
Very hard to get
Everybody
up
had
if he'd
like
been cut in half.
he does have a physical limit. Like it is a extended one. Like I'm not saying that Iron Man's gonna have an easy time putting him down, but like he will eventually put him down. Like that's the only thing.
I
So
think if you're right. If this is a book club fight, if this is the build up where there's been resentment going for a while, and it starts off with a bit of slap fight, and no, that's the worst Bronte sister. If it's that sort of stuff, and then it escalates, I think the guy that's going to win without killing, if it's not a to the death fight, I'm with you. Iron Man's got it. However, if it's the walking down the street and having a serious spur of the moment disagreement, it's the one who's most committed fastest. It's the one that loses their beans altogether and absolutely goes for it without the other one realizing, this is a bit serious. They'd win. Because
yeah,
I think, unlike the other pairings we've had so far, the element of surprise could actually make all the difference.
Yeah, no, like my thing is if they were walking into an arena and they knew where they were fighting,
Oh yeah.
then I think Iron and they had the tools, Iron Man would win. But as you said, if it was human to human,
Oh yeah.
if like there's no contest. It's like
Yep.
Captain America's going to win, kind of thing. Um, so
Yep.
like yeah, like I'm seeing in the comments a lot of kind of like Cap doesn't stay down and stuff like that, and I'm like I'm real happy, and I do also feel like this isn't. I'm an Iron Man fan more than I am Cap, but
And
man,
I'm
I
a
am a
Captain American fan more than I am an Iron Man fan. That's we had an easy side to pick when that all came up way back.
yeah, but like as much as I love Cap being able to constantly get up and stuff like that, he does have a physical limit. And so does Tony Stark. Tony Stark he also has a big huge weakness in the middle of his which is he has a big huge weakness in this middle of his chest, as we've seen.
I thought you were going to say in the middle of his ego, because there's the other
Like
side of this fight. Who could out Martha each other there? I think Captain America is the stronger person. He's steered by love and honor, whereas Tony is, let's face it, no one can be that cool without being a bit ego driven and a bit flawed anyway.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
which is
Tony
why
is
chess between those two guys would be great, because Tony's very very smart, very very smart. But I wonder if Captain America happened to be really good at chess, could he beat him? Because he might be able to play the old switcheroo.
yeah. It's one of those things where it's like essentially what they've done is they've made the best human who's like as strong as anything. Their metabolism is an amazing thing, and then you got the smartest man on earth. And what they've done is, well, not on earth, but the smartest man, and he's just gone. Oh, I'm not actually physically able. Like I'm not a massively physically powerful being like Captain America. I'll build something that makes me though.
Yeah,
Kind of. It's that's the problem with it.
there's always more than one route to get you there. I will say this much: I think we both agree it would be close. It could go either way, but in a lot of the right set of circumstances, Stark and Tech has the edge. But in without all of that, it could go the other way. So this is the one I thought was closest to a possible draw.
Yeah, kind of. I still say I'm out with it, but as I said, it's just with the tools. I do like Casey Wonder. He won't stay down unless it's chilly. Then he goes down for 70 years. I do. I do. I appreciate that. That's a very good comment.
Very nice. Well, even though it's against my wishes, we're calling this one for Iron Man. I'm sorry, Cap. I'm sorry, Steve Rogers. I'm even sorry, Chris Evans, because I'm slightly in love with you. I'm sorry, but this time, the man with the world's most affected goatee takes it.
He has better principles. So Cap has like in Civil War. I'm definitely on Cap's side.
Oh yeah,
Like
Cap's a better person, not just than Tony Stark, than all of us. I'm going to move on to two villains. This is my favorite one because this is one of those franchises that turned it all on its head, or took two franchises and turned it all on its head. Who's the bigger bad guy, essentially? Freddie versus Jason. So what have we? What have you got out there in comment land? Give us where we're fighting, because we're not fighting in a dream necessarily, but also we can't not fight in a dream. Otherwise, Freddie doesn't really kind of exist. So assume that me and Paul and all of you are asleep, and that's why Freddie's knocking around the place. But that Jason is Jason in our dreams. Does that make any sense? I tried to put some rules in this, Paul. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, it's if you were to do the fight that they have, it's weird. Have you seen that? Have you seen?
No, I haven't. God no.
Oh, okay. Because essentially they do jump around a bit, because I believe it's in one of the movies. It turns out that Freddy's able to leave the dream world if he essentially tears through a sleeping person.
Oh,
So he's able to come into the real world, but he doesn't have any of his like cool powers.
does he still have the same jumper and hat combo?
Yeah, it still looks exactly the same.
I'll be honest with you, that's the first thing I'd change if I was Freddy and I got out of the dream world. I'd be like, I've been wearing this crap for a long time. I look like evil Where's Wally here. This is not cool. Sorry, Where's Waldo for our American friends. It's so weird that Wally and Waldo, it's the same thing and had to change across the Atlantic. Whole other episode, sorry, sidebar.
I do like the two comments that are currently going on. We got one for Jason, one for Freddie. That's going to be an interesting one.
Jason wins because he can only die by drowning. Is that true? Because I'm not a Friday the 13th man.
Yeah, it's one of his. It's like it depends. It depends on which version, kind of thing. Because there's one where if you destroy the mask, or you destroy there's weird ones, but then essentially it's if he can only die from the means in which he died previously.
Oh, okay.
So.
And I see a great comment for Freddie here. Jason wasn't even the bad guy in his first movie. Okay, now let's not be mean. Let's not be mean because that's just how the movies went. That's not that's no reflection on him. Just because it wasn't him in the first movie.
But a great bit of trivia right there.
Oh yeah.
Just to let people know. And if you haven't seen the films, they're from the 1980s. So
see, I've seen 1, 2, and 4 or whatever. Like I haven't seen them all for the Jason stuff. Jason, because if Freddie wins, he'll have to deal with Jason's crazy mother. Do you know what? Could be the winning comment right there. When you think about it, Jason's an anti-hero. Ethan, good point, and I think that's one of the ways they played the marketing for Freddy versus Jason, wasn't it? That deep down you should be on Jason's side because Freddy's the pure evil in this.
Yeah, so that's essentially it. It's because Jason is essentially a venging kind of person. Like he does get he is crazy and stuff like that, but Freddy is not a great person.
There's no excuses being made for Freddy. That's fair enough.
Like Freddy is a pedophile, so.
Oh, is he? Oh, God. Well, okay, Jason wins. Cool. We have to pick who's the bigger douche. Before we talk too much further, and it turns out that Jason Voorhees doesn't, he parks in double yellows and doesn't tip the waiting staff. Then let's give it to Jason and move on. What do you say?
If you didn't know that, if you watch that movie as well, you will see it's literally this. It's literally just. It's like the two writers of the Friday or Jason series and Freddy series just decided that they were going to do a huge big long episode of super fight or anything like that. So
and how I gotta ask, how does it go with Freddy doing all the talking? I'm assuming Freddy with his quips and his little weirdness.
There's other people in it.
Oh.
There's humans that they also kill and stuff like that. It's essentially like Freddy and Jason are essentially getting in the way of them killing the people they want to kill.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what sets it off in the sense of they start getting pissed off with each other because they're trying to kill their targets and the other one steps in.
I have to ask Paul because we're going to move on. Who do you have in this? And remember, you just called one of them a pedophile, so I would probably advise you not to choose them.
I know how the movie ends, so
I don't care how the movie ends. I'm picking Jason.
Jason is literally an unstoppable monster, and Freddy has too many weaknesses.
Yeah, actually waking up being one of them from the original film and the second one that I saw. So yeah, we're calling it for Jason and moving on before our SEO is completely ruined by the fact that now we've both said the P word. Nobody write it in the comments. What's up next? Oh, God. Another two kind of villains, but not. Alien versus Predator. The title characters in movies where they were the objects of being killed by the heroes. Which is funny and rare that they would then face off. Now, I'm not talking about the Alien versus Predator movies. I'm not talking about AVP Requiem or whatever the hell they called it all. This is just... if there were really predators and there were really aliens and you took two of them, just two of them, one of each, what happens then? Because the whole idea that if you have a planet full of one and only one of the other, that'll go one way. This is just, again, walking down the street, aliens saying to predators, I cannot find enough toothbrushes for my teeth. It's nuts trying to brush the back ones, especially like my tongue has teeth on it. How do you think this feels? And then predators like you think that's bad. They could be discussing dental hygiene for a long time and then fall out. What happens then? Who wins?
Well, here's a question, and it's what did the face hugger what did the face hugger get?
I thought you were going to say, what did the face hugger say to the barman or something? I thought that was the start of a weird alien joke.
No, it's what xenomorph are we talking about? We're not talking about a queen, I'm guessing. Are we talking about one that comes out of a human?
We're talking about let's call it as an alien from the Alien movie.
Yeah, the human xenomorph.
Yeah.
And not a Praetorian or a Pred alien or any of those kind of weird kind of variants.
Let's call it original classic out of was that John Hurt on a table? Or William Hurt?
John Hurt.
John Hurt, sorry.
Kane in the movie.
So we're talking about a fully grown alien too. So not just the little slithery bugger across the kitchen floor, which by the way is still of all the alien guises the bit that creeps me out most. It's the first kind of after chest bursting and then pilling off like a scurrying little rat going, oh, that's gross, and it's also coming back 100 times bigger to kill me.
The scene that I just to go on, the scene that I hate the most is probably the one with Newt and Ripley stuck in the med lab in the second one.
Oh yeah.
And like those, kind of thing. But I know exactly who I'd go for. I'm going for Predator, hands down, Predator. Like I'm really sorry about the xenomorph and stuff like that, but one xenomorph against one Predator, no.
Okay, I gotta say, Paul, who had the better movies? Absolutely the Alien, all of the Alien stuff. But you are so right. I'm giving this to the Predator all day, every day, just because. Well, no, two reasons. Built to hunt, specifically loves hunting these things, has hunted all sorts of stuff, has the gear, even without the gear, accomplished hunter. But more importantly than that, and I think I might even stuck it on one of the cards, the Alien has a lot of weaknesses, weirdly. Surprisingly, a lot of weaknesses. For such a nasty bit of kit, stays way too close to doorways and airlocks and stuff. Like, is not learning that routine at all. Like, if I was Alien, I'd be like walking along the back wall of everywhere going, is that door locked? Because I've lost family to this whole door business. That and first drop of blood, they're screwing themselves over.
Yeah, like if you were to have a Predator that had no idea ever facing one of these things, then I might give it to the xenomorph. But Predators tend to hunt these things in droves.
Don't get me wrong. If an alien learns to cover itself in mud and then do exposition for the dumb audience, because if anybody hasn't seen Predator in a few years, and I know my brother even said this to me recently, it's one of the most insulting moments in a great movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger, covered in dirt because he's cold and camouflaged, the Predator looks around and doesn't see him, and Arnold Schwarzenegger has to deliver the line, "He didn't see me." It's like, yeah. We know you showed us that, but telling us that means you think your audiences are idiots.
Yeah, the bit of exposition there was kind of just like, what is the level of audience that you're aiming for here? Because I got it. You've been showing me the fact that he can see heat through everything.
Yeah, you did a lot of work to set this up. It's very understandable at this point in the movie. Arnold didn't need to say that.
Here's an interesting piece of trivia, which is xenobiology a bit. The reason that the xenomorph skin is white when they're born and then blackens over time is that it goes through extreme bruising.
Are you telling me that aliens are literally, dark from black and blue bruising?
Yeah, it's an interesting fact.
Huh.
You know,
that's a weird one. I don't know how to feel about that, because now I feel almost sorry. It's like, that must be very painful.
They don't. Yeah. Also, another part of their biology, they which goes have the like an incredible small amount of pain receptors. Okay. So they don't really feel pain. It makes sense in a hive mentality when you're sending out droves of these things to get killed. If one of them was just like, "Ow," like it might be a little bit kind of like, they're going to start thinking not to do it.
Well, let's go to the comments because then we're going to throw over to our last pairing.
Well,
What have we got in the
let's
comments?
go.
Ooh, sorry.
Let's go over to the comments, but I do want to say quickly: a queen versus a predator. Who wins?
Does the Predator have all his gear with him?
Yeah,
Predator.
like as in okay, and a pred alien. Did you see Requiem?
Yeah, I know the Predaliens.
That's a bit of a closer one because it's essentially just a xenomorph of predator
Yeah,
without the gear.
it's the gear though. This is back
Yeah,
to your
the gear
Iron Man
does,
stuff.
yeah.
It's like when you have the super claw and the magic frisbee and the shoulder Nokia laser pointers. You know, you got a lot of gear to take a thing down. Do you want to jump into a comment, pick a spot
Yeah,
because mines are moving too quickly?
Well, I've never seen a Predator. So Lisa B says, I've never seen a Predator movie, but I hope the Xenomorph wins. Yeah, sorry. Xenomorph would win mostly.
Also, watch Predator. The original Predator is, it's actually for the genre movie that it is. It's very underappreciated. It's quite a good movie.
Also, Predator 2. I feel Predator 2 is like it's a good follow up self-contained story. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's very weird for me because I'm like, really, Danny Glover was your choice? It's like it's the most curious bit of casting. In fact, someday we'll be doing an episode on curious casting. I guarantee you'll be hearing about Predator 2 again, folks. Predator wins because they look cooler. You know, if you can't actually pick a reason for something to win, that would be my criteria. Now, I know you're not doing it for that reason, Ethan, but I'm just thinking, if we hit a tie in anything before the end, I'm going with what looks cooler.
Yeah, that is true.
What else?
Like it would be a deciding factor.
Got to give it to Predator, says Brew. He's more agile. Has the cool vision. Yeah, unless, you're Arnold covered in mud, in which case he won't see you. Remind me, everybody, not to do any more Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions, because just hear that. It's terrible. Jazz Hands always wins. Thank you very much. Both dumped in an island with no tech and given a week of prep, Alien would win.
I see. I don't know because
We'll take away the week of prep, and I'm saying Alien might win if they're both just dumped there. But the week of prep, I'm thinking Predator's pretty handy with a sharp rock and a bit of stick.
Yeah. See, I'm still because they are still hunters. Like they are, and like it shows very quickly their resourcefulness in the Predator versus Alien movie, where they make a shield out of the skull of one of the aliens, and then the spear of the tail. Now I know they can't do that, but
Predator 2 is underrated. You have a commenter out there. Thank you very much, Brew, for backing in behind us. I'm moving us on because I don't know how to do this without. Let me see. I'm going to try and do all three at once. So we have two movies, one of which I'd heard of, the other I had not heard of until I did one Google search to try and just see was there any big verses we were missing. Dracula versus Frankenstein. That's I think it was 60s or 70s. It's an older movie, but it's not back in the early monster days. But Frankenstein versus the Mummy, which apparently was released a few years back and looks absolutely horrific, which is why none of us have ever heard of it. But it did give me the excuse to add all three on screen at once. Read the cards at your leisure, folks. Yeah. Three-way fight. Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Mummy. You pick your two to face off. Do you want to do them one at a time and then the winner faces off against somebody?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, Dracula versus Frankenstein. Let's do a round robin on this.
Yeah, okay. I'm going with Dracula.
I'm kind of going with Dracula too.
Like Frankenstein is we're going for movie Frankenstein, right? We're not going for Frankenstein from R. Shelley's okay, cool. Yeah, I would go Dracula. Frankenstein is just a smart zombie.
Yeah, he's got feelings. I always feel sorry for Frankenstein now. I've grown empathetic for the whole Frankenstein being strapped together and not knowing his place in the world. I'm going to go with Dracula too, though, because let's face it, if Frankenstein gets his hands on you, then he might be able to pummel you. But he's not the quickest. He's not the spryest lad in the world. You've got a lot of ways to get away from Frankenstein. One of them is moving even remotely quickly. So
yeah,
that's that's quite the weakness there. And Dracula, let's face it, moves like a bullet, can turn into bats, can put people in a thrall, which I'm assuming he'd be like, Frankenstein. I'm not doing a Dracula voice. Fuck, I am. Frankenstein, I can help you with the bolts in your neck. I've got some attachments, and now you're going to be cool. You don't even have to put headphones around your head. I've built them this way. Actually, yeah, Frankenstein with attachments. We got to talk later. Yeah, Dracula. Anybody out there not calling Dracula the winner on that?
See, my thing with so I got one little thing, and it's we put Frankenstein on the card, and because he's traditionally known throughout the movie thing as Frankenstein, you also put Junior, which I do.
Yeah, is anybody in the comments giving me crap about it's actually the monster? Is there? Hang on, I'm gonna go to the comments, Paul. You do the show. I'm gonna see who it was.
Not kind of, but you'll see what I mean.
Continue the show without me, Paul.
Which is so we said for
I called him Frankenstein Junior, folks, because he's going to be named after Frankenstein, and I'm not just putting the monster up there. We've been through this so many times in this channel. Learn to let it go out there, folks. Learn to let it go.
Especially since I've been the one going, are we talking about Frankenstein?
Yeah, I know.
Or Frankenstein's monster?
Anyway, I should have just put up Frank, because that's what I've been calling him anytime we have to talk about the Frankenstein's monster. Good old Frankie. Anyway, yeah, thank you all for your comments. I'm only messing around.
I could need the book requirements for killing or standard vampire. Ooh.
Do you know
we're
what?
We're doing movie version.
Yeah, but even then, like no matter what happens with Dracula, okay, if they fight outside during the day, then Frankenstein has a natural, or Frankenstein's monster, Frankie, has a natural advantage of not turning to dust or catching fire. But assuming that Dracula is smart enough not to have gone outside hand in hand with Frankenstein to pick the fight, maybe a room with windows? Is that where Frankenstein comes into his own? Clumsily, he doesn't bother chasing him, and he's just like, roar, but busts a window that's been painted black, and Shaft of Light does it for him.
Yeah, like it's a bit. I guess how fast does Dracula die in the movie from sunlight? Because I don't think he dies from sunlight in it. I think he gets a stake through the heart. But yeah, I'm going like this. I'm going with Dracula for the first one. Dracula versus Frankenstein monster. I'm going for Dracula. Dracula is surprisingly strong. Remember?
Yeah.
So he is, and he also has a whole bunch of agility.
And he's a suave little shit. Don't forget the whole mind control business. So, like, that'll work on a weak mind, which I'm not saying Frank has, but I'm assuming he does because it was only plugged in recently, not fully formed. I'm just loving the comments, folks. Thank you all so much. And Lisa, I do want to call it that you're like, you do want to see them fight the Doctor. I love Dracula versus the original movie version of Dr. Frankenstein because their hammy kind of nature, the conversation before the fight. Dracula would kill him, don't get me wrong, but the conversation would be great. Come here. I won't. I love both the portrayals in the classic movies. So that is a fight I would love to watch the face-off part, when they're all talking smack at each other, and then Dracula would just like bite him, I guess.
Well, he wouldn't bite him. He'd just tear his head off. And like he's not like a zombie in the sense that his body would then still be able to. He's not like
Dracula could be hungry. He might bite him. You never know. He's not too good to eat Frankenstein's blood.
You can't. Dead man's blood doesn't go well with vampires.
Oh no, but Dr. Frankenstein, remember, it's the doctor.
Dr. Frankenstein. Yes, no, he would definitely. Yeah, Dr. Frankenstein
like,
versus.
Come here, you snack. Come here.
Dracula. No contender there.
So can we call that one for Dracula because I want to get the mummy covered here.
I will.
I'm calling it for Dracula with you. Yeah. So all the Frankenstein Junior fans out there, Irish Barra, thank you very much. I'm glad that he had some support. I have a soft spot for good old Frank myself. I feel sorry for his situation, but I think in this case, Dracula's got him in every measurable way except for daylight. But who do you want to put up against the Mummy first then? I guess Frankenstein versus the Mummy first, is it?
Frankenstein versus the Mummy wins, in my opinion.
I'd agree with that too. So let's just go straight to Dracula and the Mummy then.
See, this is the same reason I'd say the Mummy wins this one as well.
Oh, do tell, do tell.
So if we're going over the movie rules, then the Mummy's curse means that he constantly comes after you. He can be destroyed and everything like that, but the curse won't allow him to actually die.
Okay, but what about not fight to the death?
If we're not involving the Mummy's curse kind of thing, and we're involving that like one kind of destruction of the then like the Mummy is an endurance hunter in the with the Mummy's curse. He essentially tires everybody out or surprises them. But if it's just a stand-up fight between a mummy and Dracula, I'm gonna give it to Dracula because the same reason. It's essentially a zombie that's
true. So Dracula wins the sprint, but if the Mummy holds a grudge, then that's it. The marathon's his. I'm with you on that.
If we're not involving the Mummy's curse, then Dracula will win against all three. As much as people keep saying that like they're dead and stuff like that, zombies are dead as well, and no one thinks that Dracula's not going to be able to rip one of those apart.
This is true, and the curse wins all is here. But I want to call one comment that made me smile. Me waiting for a werewolf to hop in and give everyone rabies. So Wolfman didn't actually get a versus movie. I think it was like versus Abbott and Costello or something, but that's a fight that I don't want to describe right now in real life. But yeah, so I think if you started throwing all the different people in, it would be one hell of a Royal Rumble kind of match. I think that's when the rules of engagement would definitely determine who wins the bout.
Yeah, like if you to throw in a werewolf into the middle of this, I'm still gonna give it to the Mummy's curse. Kind of thing. But if it's no Mummy's curse, I'm going to say that the last two fighting would definitely be a werewolf and Dracula, and then we have the traditional old vampire versus werewolf, and I'm going werewolf because I'm a werewolf fan.
Well, if because that's the end of our setup ones, we've got to go maybe and have a quick sidebar before we log off about Wonder Woman versus Superman. But before we do that, I've got to do some very important tickling. I've got to tickle some analytics. My hands are here. I'm tickling analytics. So like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends. Feel free to comment live, which you're all doing brilliantly, but also comment later. Let us know if you've had other thoughts or if you're watching this in the future. Because, gotta be honest, the likes help the analytics, the sharing helps us get seen, but engagement with you, all you beautiful people, is what makes this all worthwhile. So thank you very much for your time. We hope we made it worthwhile. Also, if any of those cards, if they're worth tweeting out, I'll ask Paul after to let you read them and vet them before we agree to tweet anything, Paul, in case it's something that's going to get us in legal trouble. But now we are back to, was it Superman versus Wonder Woman was what we were going to leave?
No, it's Batman versus Wonder Woman.
Was it Batman versus Wonder Woman? Oh, then it's Wonder Woman wins that fight. Pretty handily, I'd say. Because they both got awesome belts.
Yeah, but we would have this is the thing is Wonder Woman's like bracelets are bulletproof.
But good old gauntlets, yeah. Is she bulletproof?
Yeah.
I call it not mattering because she's so good at deflecting bullets. So she's a bullet repellent.
No, well, I'm more gauging the resistance of her.
Oh, okay.
Because bulletproof is a good. If she is also bulletproof, it's a fairly good resistance. But if her gauntlets are the only thing that's bulletproof, then we have a different bit.
Well, let's say they're both kitted out. They're on their way to go and kick Superman's ass because they're finally like, we're teaming up and we can take him. And they're like, trying to decide who takes the credit afterwards, and they fall out. And Wonder Woman's like, Bruce, you're such a tool. Stop it. And Bruce is like, hey. Settle down. I can kick your ass first. And she's like, let's find out. Street fight. Two of them all kitted up. He's not calling in any Batwings or Robins or, vehicles or people, and she's not magically going to have, her invisible airplane land on him. I think fist fight wise, if he's not going to try and shoot her with a grappling gun, because remember she's got the whole lasso of truth, so he's not necessarily kitted out with a machine gun on him here. I'm giving it to Wonder Woman. She's faster. She's stronger. Yeah, she's got the cooler extra bits, because his utility belt always has what he needs.
That's what I was gonna bring it in as well. It's my only caveat is her weakness is definitely going to be in that utility belt. It's the same thing as if though Batman wouldn't be prepared. I didn't want to bring it in the kind of like it's a Deus Ex Machina tool, but there's a possibility. But yeah, like we've gotten the comments that Wonder Woman isn't bulletproof. It's only her, which I would also agree with, as in she's not bulletproof. It's just her reactions and her gauntlets. Are we doing the DC movie one? The one that has the whole kind of like God stance? Her power stance.
Well, I'm sorry, I got lost in the comments for a second. You folks are fantastic, by the way. I'm easily calling it for any of the Wonder Womans versus any of the Batmans as well, because I was just thinking which era in the televisual world of
no, we start mixing and matching them, we're definitely going to have a problem.
Oh yeah, but
Wonder Woman from the 60s is not going to win against Batman from now.
No, but Adam West versus Linda Carter, the two original TV, that's the fight that I want, because they weren't like overpowered altogether, and his utility belt was more reasonable. It always had just what he needed then, but it was pretty limited to their imagination of what the props department could pull off. I think that'd be fabulous, because I think it'd probably break down into a groovy dance party at some stage. Very Austin Powers, and they'd both be fighting behind kapows, whops, bops, and kablamo.
That's true. Yeah, like I'm gonna give a lot of the wins to. I'm gonna do it similar to, as we said, to the Superman Batman thing, which is, but I'm gonna change the ratio. So we said 1 out of 10 fights Batman wins. I'm gonna say, it's gonna be closer. I'd say 2 or 3 Batman wins
out of 10. Okay. Yeah.
Out of 10, yeah.
I'm gonna.
The ratio is still way on Wonder Woman's side.
I'm gonna give you that, and because we're about to hit time, I'm gonna move us towards the end, if that's okay. But I will also say that because the criteria so far has been, playing poker or sitting down to a PlayStation or playing football. I give Batman the edge over Wonder Woman on a few things there, because Batman just seems like the type of guy who would have spent more time with the Sega than Wonder Woman. She does strike me more as a reader.
Is the reason that you chose a Sega? Well, is it a Sega Mega Drive?
It's a Mega Drive, yeah.
And is the reason that you chose Batman being more of a Sega Mega Drive person?
The Batarang controller?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I thought everybody got that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, that is how my brain works. And yes, you do know me very well, Paul. And I appreciate that you do. Do you have anything you want to throw in before we walk out?
No, I guess tweet at the Twitter account at Heroes Tube, or here it's Heroes Tube, right?
It's Heroes Tube. We couldn't get Heroes
if you want to hear more of our opinions on some of the versus things, kind of thing, you can definitely tweet to us about maybe some versus guys. So, like, if you want to be this, like we've got Brew saying Batman or Batfink. I'm going with Batfink. That's a classic cartoon right there.
Yeah. Let's not even bring the tick into this, because then we will run over time.
Yeah, but if you want to tweet at us some maybe versus ones, and we'll give you our opinions on them. If you haven't seen, we tweeted out our 3-word reviews of the Snyder Cut, which was it was good. But
and I am very much I'm the timekeeper this week, folks. This was supposed to be a fun, snappy half hour of a bit of crack, and we ended up doing a full hour again because it's so much fun. So let us know if you had fun. We'll do more of this. And on that note, I really am going to have to hit the big button. I got distracted because I forgot where I put the big button to end things. Paul, say goodnight to everybody. We've been Heroes Out. I have been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.